Hello and welcome back. It is Monday. I am Mr. Sisatris, and this week I'm responding to the Counting the Days tag. I was tagged by Literary Layer. Thank you so much for tagging me. And I wanted to participate because this is a great list. This is looking at your TBR and seeing the different reasons why different books jump out at you and why you want to read them. So let's get into it. The first book on the list is a book that excites you because of its cover. And for that one, I chose Lone Women by Victor LaValle. I love Victor LaValle so much. He did The Ballad of Black Tom, he did The Changeling, and I loved both so much. I don't really know a whole lot about this. This is literally one that leapt off the shelf and attacked me, but it looks spooky, it looks compelling, and the cover is just, I don't know. It's very interesting. It's got kind of a gothic feel. I don't know. I'm gonna have to check it out because I definitely want to read this one. I love this author so much, and the cover art is gorgeous. Next up is a book that excites you because of its author. And for that one, I chose The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi by Shannon Chakraborty. A bunch of people have already read this one. This one came out a year or two ago. And but I finished the Daevabad trilogy either beginning of this year or last year, end of last year, and I loved it so much. It's one of my favorite fantasy series ever. This is the beginning of a new trilogy, and I think this one is set in the same universe as the Daevabad trilogy, but like way, way, way before. So, you know, we get to see more of that world. So, pirates, we've got a protagonist who isn't like a young 16-year-old waif. She's got experience and she's badass, and I am so excited to read this one. I would trust this author with everything, so I cannot wait to read this one, and I know I'm gonna love it. Next up is a book that excites you because of its premise. And so with that one, I went for James by Percival Everett. This one is very soon on my TBR, and I think I might read this one after my current read because I'm so excited to read this. The premise of this one is that it's the story of Huck Finn from the point of view of Jim. And we get his story, we get his perspective. The story is already kind of about him anyways, so it's good that his character kind of gets a voice because, you know, Huck Finn is one of those enduring classics in the American canon, and I cannot wait to see what Percival Everett has added to it because it's a great story. Next on the list is a book that excites me because of its style, and so for that one I chose Starling House by Alex E. Harrow. I've read The Once and Future Witches by this author and absolutely loved it. She has a beautiful prose style. It's just got this fairy tale magical quality. From what I've read, this book is a little bit darker, but it still has that kind of rich prose that makes her books so much fun to read because they're just gorgeous. And so this is definitely one that I'm excited for, specifically because of how well it's written and the style and the author's voice. I'm really excited to get into this one. Next up is a book that excites you because of its influence. And so for that one, I chose Song of Solomon by Toni Morrison. Toni Morrison is one of my favorite authors. I've loved everything that she's written that I've read of hers so far. I've read Beloved, The Bluest Eye, Sula, and Toni Morrison is one of those incredibly influential writers that I feel like everyone just needs to read. And so this is next up on the list. I also have her book Jazz, which I definitely want to read as well. And so this is definitely one that I want to read because Toni Morrison's prose style is wonderful. She gets at social issues in a really honest, frank, brutal way. She just kind of says, this is the way things are and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. And she has dynamic characters that grow and change and that you can empathize with, but which aren't perfect heroines and simplistic villains. Like, all of her characters are nuanced and complex, and I just cannot wait to read more of her work. This is a little bit of a bigger one, so I'm excited to read this one. Next up is a book that I'm excited about because of its emotional weight. And this is actually two books. I recently picked up Chinua Achebe's The African Trilogy. Now, I have read Things Fall Apart. That's yeah, Things Fall Apart. That's the first book in this trilogy, and I really, really loved it. And I've been looking for the other two, but they're kind of hard to find sometimes. But my local amazing bookstore down the street from where I work, which is very dangerous, they had this collection with all 3 books in it. So I cannot wait to read the other 2 in the series. They're more of a, instead of like a direct continuation of like one character's story, they're more of a thematic trilogy of sort of linked narratives all about, you know, colonialism and the African diaspora, you know, the events that led to that. So I cannot wait to read this. His prose style is wonderful. His characters are so gripping, and I really, really want to get back into his style and his style of writing, because he's just a great author. Next up is a little bit different. This one is a book that I'm excited for because of its humor. And while I don't read a ton of like humorous stuff, one author that I am excited to get into is Terry Pratchett, and that's his Discworld books. I have a few of them already that I've been kind of collecting here and there, sometimes from used bookstores, sometimes if I see them on sale. And I do know, and I have seen this online, that the first few books, it kind of takes a while for him to find the kind of voice that he was so like known for, but I do still want to read them in publication order. So the first one, The Color of Magic, and I also have The Light Fantastic. So this is definitely one that I want to get into. I think we all need some lighthearted fantasy that is, you know, I don't know, open to all and inclusive and diverse and fun. And we need someone that we can look up to, and Terry Pratchett, from what I can read, is one of those authors who just won't ever let us down. So definitely want to get into Discworld one of these days. And the last one on the list is a book that's been on my TBR for forever, and I'm a little scared of it, but I do want to read it because I've heard nothing but great things about it. The final tag item is a book that I'm excited for because of its challenge or difficulty. And so for that one, I picked The Brothers Karamazov by Fyodor Dostoevsky. I do want to read this. I promise I will read it. I say this every time this book shows up. And this is a great translation. I'm really excited to check this one out. But again, this is a book that I'm a little scared of. I don't know why, because it is a long book, but it's not as long as some others. Okay, you know, 800 pages or so. That's doable. I can do that. I'm reading the Stormlight Archive right now, and I'm finishing up book 2, and that one's like, you know, 900, 1200 pages. So I can do this. This is doable, and you need to hold me accountable for this. So Brothers Karamazov, I will read this one because I'm excited to get into this. I love Russian authors. I love Tolstoy. I love Chekhov. This is one that I definitely want to check out. So I will do it. That is the list as of now. I am going to tag a few people down below. You do not have to participate if you're not interested. That's totally fine. I just wanted to tag some creators that I really like, and kind of get your videos out there, because I think you make really great stuff. So if you're looking for folks to follow, check out at Jason Reads, check out at Criminale Blog, check out Literature Science Alliance, check out Willow Talks Books. She's wonderful and does some of the best book recommendations I've ever read. And then also check out Bookish Realm. So I've tagged you below. Again, you do not have to participate if you don't want to. I don't want to force anyone into this, but I think this is a great tag, and it keeps me motivated to keep up with my TBR. And also, I do want to say, a lot of the books that I get from used bookstores, or I get them on sale, or I trade in old books and I use the credits to get new books. So don't ever feel like you have to go out and like purchase a bunch of books brand new. You can check them out in your library. It is totally okay to do that. You can get them on ebook sales. Sometimes you can get really good deals, like $1.99 or something. So don't ever feel pressured to like just purchase books like crazy. I recently got rid of a whole bunch of books, and I used those credits to buy more books at my local used bookstore. So, you know, whenever you see anything like this, that's like a TBR and a list of books that someone wants to get into, be aware that you do not have to like given to rampant consumerism. I'm a book collector, and so I try to find inexpensive ways to collect books because I love them, but you can read books. You do not have to buy them. You can check them out from your library. Supporting libraries is always good, and there's lots of other ways to get it that are inexpensive. So with that, I will let you go. I will see you next week, and in the meantime, happy reading. Bye.